Hi Trader, Tina here once again from ShortMeTina.com with my daily recap. TGIF, happy Friday. Today is Friday. You've made it through most of the week. I think there's about, I guess depending on your time zone, you're almost there. You've almost made it through the entire week. And speaking of time zone, I do want to make note that this video is actually being recorded right now. It's around 11:24 Eastern time. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to upload this video, but do take note that the video is actually being recorded during market session, not after market closes like I typically do. So when you actually listen to the video, the prices that I quote might vary slightly from the actual closing price. I just want to make note of that. So before I get into a recap of the overall markets, I just want to say welcome and thank you for tuning into a ShortMeTina video. All right, so right now, again, what's on your screen is the SPY S&P 500 daily chart dating back to around 2017. I see a quote here of around $300.14. So we're essentially slightly up to flat on the day. I cannot imagine, right? I cannot imagine that when you actually see this video or after market close, there's about 4 hours or so left until the ending of the session. I can't imagine the markets moving either direction to an extreme, meaning I can't see it trading really much above that 300 mark today or really below that 300 mark today unless something happens, like the president tweets something or some kind of breaking news. So for the most part, I think we're going to essentially close flat on the day. And so if you look, really, if you pay attention to trading action, I want to say the last 4 or 5 trading days, we've actually been, obviously we trended up for a little bit, but we actually been trading sideways. So very much so indecisiveness on the market since the Fed issued rate cuts. The last time they issued rate cuts in July, the market, as a reminder, the market lost about 10% in value. We issued I didn't issue anything, but the Feds issued cuts to about 25 basis points earlier in the week, and the market, for the most part, has been, in my opinion, muted. So what am I paying attention to? What I've been paying attention to for the last few weeks, which is that 293 to 2. I'm paying attention to 2 levels. The first level, obviously, is this breakout level here of around 293 to 295. That's good. We haven't really traded in that. We haven't really traded above those levels outside of here. For essentially ever, right? We just recently hit all-time highs of around 302.63 before slightly pulling back. So a little all over the place. So let me just kind of like sum up what I'm paying attention to really quickly. That way you're not confused, because I feel like I'm confusing you. So again, daily chart, we've essentially, the SPY essentially have been cycling through these 2 ranges. The lower end 260, the upper end around 293 to 295 for about 2 years. We broke out of this range towards the ending of June. Very short-lived again. Feds issued rate cuts in July, and then we had this pullback. Now we broke out once again leading up to the Fed meeting. Fed cut rates, and we have not pulled back yet. Again, we've managed to remain above that 293 to 295 level. So, and we're not too far off of all-time highs. So just heading into, again, next week, the remainder of the 3rd quarter, beginning of the 4th quarter, for me, it's all about sustainability. If we can actually sustain this break and this move, for me, that is a cue to go long. But again, the market, in my opinion, I am not 100% sold. It has to prove to me that it actually wants to trend up. So yes, I am still short. You can see we're pulling back a little bit here. And even if we pull back to that breakout base of around 293 to 295, I still think it's bullish. I think the market will start to falter, and you should exercise extreme caution if we break down that 293 to 295 level. For me, that will not be good. So that's kind of what I'm paying attention to. Obviously, all-time highs in that 293 to 295 level to see whether or not this breakout will be sustained. What else? All right, and so right now we have the IWM daily chart dating back to 2017. So again, we're slightly flat to up on the day, up about 0.24%. I see a quote here, 156.14. So again, the Feds issued cuts back in July the market pulled back all the way to support of around 144, 145. That has held as support for the past 2 years, proven to be a really good and quote unquote safe place to go long. We actually went long around here, got that 10% bounce right back up to resistance of around 160. Didn't quite get to 160. I think we topped out at around 158, and you see this pullback underway right now. So for the past 6 or 7 trading days, while the SPY for the most part has been trading sideways, the IWM has actually pulled back slightly. Nothing major, has pulled back slightly. Let me zoom in. Has pulled back slightly the last few trading days. Anyway, sitting here at 156.14, not too concerned. Obviously, what I want to see, and again, I think that there's a bullish setup on the shorter term in the making. What I want to see now, even if it wants to trade sideways a little bit, I think that that's okay. But eventually, you want to see the IWM make another attempt at surpassing that 160 level. We made that attempt right here back in May of 2019, very, very short-lived, only sustained that break about for 2 trading days, and then we pulled back. So again, what I'm looking for with the IWM, rounding out the third quarter, heading into the fourth, would be for another push above that 160 level, I think, and I've been saying this way back when. But if we make another attempt, that'll be attempt number 8, right? We tried here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So just side note, these black arrows that you see here are all the times in which we've tried to penetrate that 160 resistance level to no avail. So the 7th time was most recently, again, heading into the Fed meeting. We didn't quite break. We pulled back. So a nice strong push above that 157 to 158 mark. More than likely, we're going to retest 160. And depending on the strength of the bulls, we might actually break. So heading into attempt number 8, providing that we make that attempt, let's see if we can actually break through 160. And that would be a really good sign, in my opinion, for the market. What else? All right, so let's do a follow-up on ticker NSPR. It's off about 41% on the day. I see a quote here of 152, $1.52. You have this gap down here. I believe I did an analysis on this yesterday, and I said you really want to stay away from stocks that are trading close to all-time lows, right? You really want to stay away from stocks that are trading at all-time lows. That's one. 2, you want to pay attention to exactly how the stock opens up. That should be an indicator whether or not you're going to get a bounce or more selling. So yesterday the stock closed at around $2.60, no question about it. Today we opened up at 150. That would have been for me a sign that it's like, you know what, this stock is a no-go in terms of a long position. So low of 146, we have a little bit of a bounce. I see a quote here of 152. Again, the high is 155. So not much movement in terms of range. It seems as though some buyers are stepping in here. So I think for the most part today we're probably going to end or close somewhere around this 150 mark. But this might be a decent setup if you're looking to go long heading into next week, if you're looking for that dead cat bounce. Me personally, once again, don't want to be anywhere near any stocks that's trading at all-time lows, or especially a stocks that is gapped down about 40% in one day. But these types of situations or these types of movements, you will get that quote-unquote dead cat bounce where you're going to get about 10 to 15% in a short period of time. So is this particular stock going to offer it up next week? Well, one of the things you want to pay attention to, obviously, is today's low of 146. If we can, or if the stock can actually hold that line and maintain that, that's actually a good sign. You can use that as your risk. And heading into next week, you want to pay attention to, one, how the stock closes today and how it opens up. If we open up above where we close today, that should be a telltale sign that the stock might actually bounce. And it looks like some buyers are stepping in, or at minimum, shorts are covering. All right, so that's my take on ticker NSPR. What else? All right, quick follow-up on Snapchat, ticker SNAP. Love this stock. Again, I really do believe that this stock has the ability and the potential to double heading into 2020. It's already up about 300% in less than a year. If you think about it, in December, this stock was trading at around $4.82. Most recently, after the stock gapped up on decent earnings, it went as high as $18.12 before slightly pulling back. It's looking once again that it wants to actually gear up to, at minimum, the high after the stock gapped up after reporting earnings was $18.36. That's important to know. Anyway, after about a few weeks of pullback, and again, no stock goes up in a straight line. It looks like it actually wants to retest those highs of $18.36. We're slightly under 17, and I think that that is perfectly fine. I think that if we can, and I believe we will, especially if this market continues to trend up or starts to trend up, if we can take out the most previous highs of around $18.36, more than likely, I see this as a $20 stock before 2020, and sitting here at $17, you still have about $3 or 3 points of upside. Once that happens, I think it can easily overtake 29, which is the all-time highs, or at minimum get to around $30. So I'm actually playing for about $30. I've been in this stock for a very long time, so I'm up nicely. Just recently added to my position. So another solid pick in the premium member community. Put Snap on your radar. What else? All right, and then we have ticker MDR daily chart. Let's just zoom in on price action that's occurring for the past 3 days. So before I get there, huge congrats to the bull stock is up about 70% on the day. So like I was talking about with ticker NSPR, generally speaking, when you have a stock that pulls back to the tune of 40-50%, like we saw, and I don't know the exact metrics, but just looking at the stock here, MDR was trading at around $5.90 a few days ago. Then it went as low as $1.52. So that's a huge pullback. And today it's up about 70%. So I guess this is a little bit more than a dead cat bounce. So I mean, this is a quote unquote whole move. Anyway, but you typically tend to get 70% might be a little bit extreme, but you typically tend to get those sort of bounces, those 10, 15, 20% bounces after a stock has shed so much, and that seems like what's actually underway with ticker MDR. Even so, I mean, if you were able to catch that 150 low, huge congrats. You're up about 70% on the day, or at least you've made a decent amount of money. I think that's great. Sitting here at $2.70 is actually trading close to today's high of $2.77. All great, but for me, any stock, again, that's trading at all-time lows, it's not a stock, or any stock that has shed 40-50% in 2 trading sessions, not a stock that I really want to own. A little bit too volatile for my blood. However, it seems like this stock might potentially be on its way to at minimum around $3.50 to $3.75 if momentum continues heading into next week. So obviously, as with the others, what you want to pay attention to is essentially how the stock closes. Again, this video is being recorded prior to market close, so I'm not quite sure how it closes, but you can record where it closes at and see exactly where it opens up, right? If it can sustain a decent open, or meaning if it can open up higher than today's close, then the chances of the stock actually continuing its run, it's more than likely, in my opinion. So that's my take on MDR. I personally don't want it. I see a scenario where it can get to 350 or 375, but that all is dependent on how it closes today and essentially how it opens up next week. All right, what else? All right, so let's wrap it up and round it out with ticker MTP daily chart. Just let's pay attention to price action starting around May of 2019, because in my opinion, the stock essentially started to base, aka trade sideways, and that's always a good sign when you're looking for a stock to actually reverse, right? You can see here you had about a few months of decline, and then the decline actually stopped, meaning that the stock stopped placing in essentially lower lows. You're basing here, and then today you have that pop to a tune of around 40%. So huge congrats to the bulls. If you are newly long, if you've been long for a very long time, I'm pretty sure you're still underwater, but if you manage to actually catch the stock once it was basing, great. You're up about 40%. I see a quote here of 160 on about, I want to say, double or triple the average volume. So new buyers stepping in, that's always a good thing. And again, sitting at 160, today's high is 170, so we're kind of trading up or trading close to today's high, also a very good sign. Just take note that I see resistance. Let me duplicate this so you can see what I'm looking at. I see resistance, or a little bit of again, resistance around that 180 mark, right? So take note of that. You might want to shave some off once it gets to 180, because again, on a shorter time frame, I see the stock running into resistance. However, if we can actually get above that 180 mark, then I think you can easily see around anywhere from $2.50 to $3 in the shorter term. So that's kind of just like a small short snippet on ticker MTP. There's obviously a lot of other variables, and I can probably sit here and analyze the stock for another 10 to 15 minutes, but we don't have that. So just in a really quick snapshot, you got that really nice bounce off of support of around $1.20, up about 40%. Clearly with volume stepping in, the high of the day clocked in at 170. We're trading up at 160. I see a little bit of resistance or a little bit of overhead around that 180 mark. So you might want to pay attention to that. All right. So that's kind of it. Tina here once again from ShortMeTina.com. If you enjoyed any portion of this video, I'd like for you to do 3 things for me. 1, comment in the comment section. What did you think about my analysis? Are you in any of these trades looking to go long, short? Again, comment in the comment section. That's 1. 2, I do videos Monday through Friday. If the stock market is open, expect a video. So if you want to make sure that you do not miss any, because I do them at varying times, well, majority of the times they come around 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, but there are times where I have to do them a little bit earlier. So anyway, if you want to ensure that you don't miss any, make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel at ShortMeTina. And lastly, my friend, yes, I've been trading for 15, that is 1 year, closer to 20. So if you think you can learn anything from me, then definitely head on over to our website, ShortMeTina.com. Sign up, become a member. Thank you for listening. And as always, thank you for the support. Enjoy your weekend. I will talk to you on Monday.